Outcome Memories has got to be one of the most popular EXE games out there. Everyone knows it and everyone has heard about it. But unfortunately, it's been cancelled. With this outcome, developers are willing to post anything that's been happening behind the curtains. Concepts, designs, everything. So I talked to the game developers, asking them your questions to unveil many of their future plans that Outcome Memories had. I didn't want to be the only one surrounded by game devs, so I went ahead and invited Collab, the Outcome Memories news guy. He posted news about the game every single day up until the game's cancellation. So props for all that effort. Anyways, I'm gonna stop wasting your time and go straight into the interview. Before we even start this, man, PR, isn't this very familiar? Like very, very familiar in a way.
Yeah, it was very scary.
Anyways, getting that out of the way, how about everyone introduce themselves?
I'm Route. I am the ex-server manager for Outcome Memories, voice actor of Fleetway.
I am PR. I am the staff director, well, used to be server manager, and I work for Outcome Memories on a few scrapped emotes and map making.
I'm Rotogi. I also go by Rina. I am the voice actor of Tails for Outcome Memories.
Now to start this off, I'm gonna be separating this into two different categories. So the first one is planned game questions, so stuff that was planned, and then dev questions, like stuff how you handled in the background. Question 1, were there any planned mechanics changes for the characters or game itself further along the roadmap?
For mechanics and all that stuff, when we were making a roadmap beforehand, we did plan to add more structures. Like one thing Sobi really liked was zip lines around Angel Island or new mechanics around the map to make them feel more alive. But we never got that far in development because we were planning to do stuff after our recode, but we sadly couldn't do it. And as for characters, not really, unless you count Tails' rework, then I guess so, since they were getting a new kit, they were able to carry survivors, so.
Okay, so for the second question, a lot of people were really curious about the OCs for the game, Tavern, Suitor, all of them. And people were wondering, what was the lore going to be like for Tavern, Suitor, Alucard, Imperfect, and the rest?
This was kind of simple to answer. For like Imperfect, Searcher, they were getting their lore written by the creators like Ross and Sobi, and then Ray with Alucard. But they were never able to get that far in it because, well, they were just designing the character in game. They were gonna write the lore afterwards as I asked about it, but ever since Outcome just fell, they became disinterested in like their characters. Well, except for Ross, but for example, so we didn't really know what to do with Imperfect. But now that Outcome's over, he just left the character there, sadly. So they never really had a fleshed out story. The only thing Imperfect had, which we said in the Google slideshow, was that he was just like a creation of X that failed. But everybody else, we don't really have much, publicly at least.
What was Rewrite's moveset going to be? Was there a general idea of how he'd play?
He was going to be a form switcher character. Basically similar to 2017 and Faker, he was going to be able to switch forms over the course of the round.
Alright, so one out of the allegedly 5 Sally mains wants to ask, what would Sally have played like if, you know, she got to release?
Oh, Sally, can't you answer this one, Route? Because we're
I was gonna work on Sally with Sobi. So Sally was going to be able to, she was able to switch through 3 little stages, quote unquote. She was going to have one where she could buff attack, one where she was defense focused, and one where she was healing focused. Basically, she was going to be an all-rounder support type of character. We never really got too far, but I know for the defensive kit, we wanted it to be like TD, where she had the wall and stuff. But she was going to be another support character, but focus on multiple things also.
Since the game got officially canceled, I'd like to know some lore bits, story of OM that we didn't get to see.
OM had lore, but it also didn't at the same time. It was, how they went about it was weird, where there was lore behind characters, the reasons why they were there, and like the overarching plot behind OM and how they ended up in that spot. But it was never really built upon for, I don't know why. It was like they wanted to do stuff, but also they didn't want to take it too far. So it sort of just became like this weird balance between, oh yeah, we're doing stuff, but we're not doing stuff. I think at one point, it was said publicly, there was going to be an extension in the lobby where the doors of the big little castle thing was gonna open up, and there was just gonna be more stuff you could do in the lobby, and that would dive more deeper into the lore aspect of the game.
I guess the only other lore I could think of, you know how Survivor's gonna have escapes, like escape animations.
Oh yeah, that was lore.
Yeah, the lore was that what Sobi told me is survivors would be in those islands or like memories for 40 seconds before they're forced back into a round where they don't remember anything.
Yeah.
I remember asking about that. So they're just there for 40 seconds and then they're sent back to the game.
So people were really curious about this. Will the community ever hear more about End? Because, you know, we only got to see his chase theme and model. Was there a moveset planned, and will there be anything else done about EXE? Your baby.
My baby. I know this one. I know. Oh, Ed was my favorite. Actually, I think I could go look because it doesn't really matter. But I know the person that was managing End was Ross, since he had taken that. But looking at this, there didn't seem to be much planned. He had art concepts, but overall,
yeah, any of the moveset stuff regarding End wasn't really a prominent thing. Like, he had his themes, he had whatever idea they had for him was just kept entirely private, and that's about it, really.
Were there any plans or ideas for Big the Cat's moveset?
Let me look at the channel.
Yeah.
I don't know if Rao or Rena know. Looking at this channel, I can't seem to find anything big related.
Yeah, there wasn't really much too big yet, but a lot of survivors didn't have their movesets finished out.
The only thing I can imagine is he beat the tank because he's fat.
Were there any ideas or concepts for funny game modes, almost like Die of Death? So, for example, the EXE needs to stop Knuckles from like...
I want to talk about it. I want to talk about it. I'm talking about it.
I can tell I've struck something.
Me.
You guys,
Glad,
you guys can
me. So, you all know the game Left 4 Dead. You all know it. I won't go into specifics about it, but there was meant to be a game mode where it was sort of like that, but you, of course, were playing as the characters. And there was gonna be another EXE who was gonna do his whole thing, and he was gonna be the main antagonist of that game mode. It ended up not happening, of course, but it was planned. It was gonna happen. Sadly, it didn't. There was also Double Trouble, which we all know. I did lines. Oh, I was gonna do lines for that.
No, there was gonna be like separate lines for Double Trouble.
It was gonna be intros, character intros for killers. That was at least a part of the concept.
Been like all those Forsaken Sloth videos.
You like realize, yeah. So there's that.
We wanted to add more game modes. There was ideas thrown around, like that one game mode TV had, Hemorrhage, where you had to like collect rings to not die. But yeah.
Oh, then there was the Juggernaut game mode. Game mode. That was, oh man. Oh, the Juggernaut game mode was that was gonna be really awesome.
Was there anything particular about the mode that you think people would have liked, or is like just playing as a Juggernaut?
Playing as a Juggernaut was awesome.
Oh my god. Anything, and I mean anything FNAF related was considered for the game. Variants, killers, cosmetics, maps, anything. So this is referring...
Sonics?
Yeah, it was referring to that, yeah.
To some degree, yes. A lot of the devs wanted a lot, like a variant or at least a cosmetics for Sonic to
I know there's ideas, but it was never really happened.
We planned to touch up on it after Recode, but you know.
That happened. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Man, all we had to do was make it past Recode. All we had to fucking do. I
mean, no, yeah, you're absolutely right.
No, it's not even funny. Everything peak happened after Recode.
Yeah, we had a lot of stuff planned.
From one out of like all 5 Infinite fans. They're asking, what was Infinite's moveset gonna be like? I'm really curious.
I knew Rod was like the biggest Infinite voucher, so I think he knows more about it.
Absolutely nothing. I don't have anything.
Really?
Infinite was one of those characters where, what I said before, where there was like anything about him was either hidden or just never worked on because, you know, it was just too early for him. I know he was planned for like way later down the line update, but it just never really came to be because, you know, death.
The only thing I know about Infinite, I think it was stated publicly, is that he doesn't have the Phantom Ruby. That's just kind of it. Other than that, there's nothing I know about Infinite. I just know he would have been like an all-rounder, basically. That's all I really know. There's nothing else I know about.
I don't know about that.
Infinite, no Phantom Ruby?
Yeah, that's been stated. Sword man.
Yeah, sword
Pizza
man.
with nothing on it. What the fuck?
What was Fleetway's rework going to be like?
Okay, route.
Fleetway. Yeah. Okay. Fleetway's rework was, well, quote unquote rework. It wasn't really a full on rework. He was just gonna get 2 changes to his abilities. Burst, to my memory, was going to be something where it was like Roaring's Knight. Ray had done a test with Roaring Knight where it was like the charge up screen where it sends out all the shit flying towards you. And it was gonna be something like that for Fleetway's rework. Never happened, of course. And then the laser eyes, which I know was a big point of discussion when it came to the similarities of Tripwire and Fleetway. Conversation for another day. I know the laser eyes were going to be a charge up. Like you hold it down to charge it up and then you can release it. I think it was gonna be like that. Again, just never happened because, you know, Death of Outcome and the coders were on break at the time, so there wasn't really much work on it, if at all.
Now, we did have a previous talk about lore and all, and to expand on that, someone asked, how did some of the survivors make it into Outcome memories?
For Tails, he kind of just came from TD. Yeah. I remember a lot of people said Sonic came from CD and all that, but Sobi had said he didn't know where people got that idea from in the manager group chat, but that's long gone now. He said he would have made a story for it, but it would have been around Sonic 3 or lower. Yeah, so for Sonic, I don't really know much.
Yeah, it was I know at one point he said it was CD. Then he swapped it over to something else, but
yeah.
all the other characters, I think, well, Infinite, I'm pretty sure comes from like just a post Forces type of part. I know another survivor. So 2 survivors, Mighty and Ray. I think it was said by Kual on Twitter. They both came from EYX's game through a portal, and that's how they ended up in Outcome. Or through a ring, and that's how they ended up in Outcome. Then there was
Blaze and Alucard, remember?
So Blaze and Alucard also came from the same universe. I think that's where Silver also came from, because that's sort of was hinted at with the lore between those guys. Honey came from Slash's game or story. Tails came from TD, we already know that. Knuckles, probably Sonic 3, because he doesn't know anybody really. Amy was classic Amy, so she had tarot cards, so that's like CD to Sonic Adventure 1 era Amy, because she had the hammer as well. Oh my god, I had something for Amy too. I had an Amy concept. And I set the Bonely.
Okay, wait. We don't want to kill the questions. We can't kill their questions. We have to wait. We can't kill them.
Yeah, other characters, Rouge. Oh, Rouge, yeah. Rouge's idea was that she was taken into Outcome during her early stages as like a character. So whatever that prime Rouge would be, that was her general idea at least. I don't really have anything else for other characters.
Anything for Eggman?
Eggman?
I don't remember. The only thing I remember, like a long time ago when CD, I just know Eggman didn't come from CD, but I was never told where he came from.
With the inclusion of all other planned maps, CD wouldn't really work because, you know, we had all the other maps planned for him. We could get to that segment later if there is a question.
Wait, I know. Sonic 4 Episode 1.
No, I'd rather die.
Anyways, you can continue the question.
Who or what were you gonna replace the shopkeeper with? You know, after Farshnar took over.
Oh,
it was gonna be Tarvin. Tarvin was gonna come back.
It's because you can explain actually. Go ahead.
Yeah, Tarvin was gonna get a voice change. We had already came down to who was gonna be. I think they chose expressly as the voice actor for Tarvin, the new voice actor for Tarvin.
I think it was Dylan. I can actually check that.
No, it wasn't Dylan. It wasn't.
It was?
Dylan auditioned for it. I remember a few people auditioned for it. I was included. But it ended up going to expressly at the end. That's what Ross told me when I asked him. Of course, it wasn't added in because the game had died at that point, and they were also on break. But Tarvin was gonna come back, and he was gonna stay as the shopkeeper throughout. But Farstar ended up staying because we didn't get the voice changed. The original voice actor was Ramon, which is why we had to change it in the first place.
Since some modern characters were added, was there ever going to be modern maps added as well?
Go ahead,
yes. There were so many maps planned that I could talk about. There was maps stretched out. We had maps planned about like some classic maps. Just before we get to modern, would be Ice Cap, Flying Battery, and Mirage Saloon. We had plans for like modernish maps, like Water Palace from Sonic Rush. We were thinking about maps from Unleashed, perchance. There was like, cause we never really had rules with maps, cause our whole lore was about like portals, rings, and everything. We could just suggest a map, and if they liked it, we could do it. So
the only real, like, I would say the only real rules for maps was like it just had to be approved by Boney, who was the map lead at the time, and it was just gonna be like that. But you know, stuff happened.
Everything after Recode.
Next question about balancing. Was the intended balance of the game for a solo queue or a team queue? I'm assuming what they mean by this is, were you meant to just hop in the game, you by yourself, and just work with the people in private, like public servers or whatever? Or were you like meant to get like 6 other people in a Discord call and all jump in the same lobby?
When the game first came out, it was meant to be like that, like just be a team and everything. Obviously, Discord works better because you can talk to each other since Roblox voice chat sucks. It's meant to be more of a like to work with other people around you, but more and more changes got made. It was more difficult, so I understand why people thought like that.
Yeah, but it was always it's always just gonna be like your normal ASYM where you gotta trust people around you to live and escape, or if you want to live and escape, that is.
Were there plans to add Kitsunami the Fennec to OM?
I saw absolutely zero concepts.
Damn, there was nothing.
Maybe like
oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, bro, just got gutted.
Either on Twitter,
oh my
either on
gosh.
Twitter there was a concept for him or something. Maybe one of the EXE owners had a variant idea for Kit. Other than that, I saw nothing on Kit. Nothing.
Goodness, Kitsunami got gutted.
Kitsunami fans.
Oh my god, the Kit fans, they're seething right now.
Which is funny because we had fucking Urge. Surge. Okay, I need to diverge off a path real quick because I gotta say this. I gotta say this one. I was stuck with my headset. I had an idea. It was way back when. Most people who know this artist, Kibichi on Twitter. They're big OM person, Sonic EXE person. Yeah. They had this concept for a Fleetway Surge variant. And I swear to God, it was like for a week straight, I kept on suggesting it. I wanted it so fucking bad. I was like, we could even get Vivian Reed on it. Because it was just a valid variant that needed to be in the game.
Right. So we considered it too. He said it was a really cool idea. Even Boney liked it.
At that point, Fleetway had a bunch of variant ideas planned for him, which I still think was BS because guess what? Guess what happened after that? Yeah, like 50 different variants for all the other killers planned. It just never really happened though. It was sort of just shrugged off and forgotten about.
What were all of the planned maps you, as a dev team, had planned to come into the game? Scrap, plan, just kept a surprise, just in general.
Yeah.
The ones in development at the time, before like everything happened. Mirage Saloon, Kind and Fair, that was gonna be renamed to Bingo Carnival or whatever. I don't remember.
Bingo Carnival. Something Carnival. I remember.
Yeah. But Kind and Fair, that Carnival, Sonic Schoolhouse. And then maps that were planned was Flying Battery, which I was going to be able to do. So, Kind of Fair, Mirage Saloon, Not Perfect V2. Yeah, that was planning to come out with Recode. I talked about that with like the other map makers. That was planned. Other than that, nothing really else. Oh, well, actually, Act 9. That was shown off.
Act 9.
Act 9 was being
off?
made. Yeah, it was posted in Game Progress by Cosmic. He posted what it would look like. But overall, those were the only maps in development, and I won't say any other maps just in case more questions appear. But yeah.
Were you gonna add some Scratch and Grounder representation from like, the Sonic TV show? Oh, you had something.
Rita, do you remember fucking remember Lewis Crash Out?
Oh.
Remember Lewis Crash Out with the other two characters?
Oh.
It wasn't Scratch and Grounder, it was somebody else. It was another duo. But Scratch and Grounder. So, fun fact, this was changed. Scratch and Grounder were the intended original duo.
Yeah, actually, this was wrong. It was actually Bean who was gonna be one of the final ones in the Survivor roster. And since we're clarifying things right here, they also want to mention why Tripwire was so busted on release, and explain exactly how that happened.
I just simply wanted to clarify Tripwire and people bashing on her, even after Outcome's death. I still see people hating on Tripwire, which I understand why, but I did want to clarify things since I've talked to a few devs. The way version 2 came out, well, mostly Tripwire, wasn't Raven's fault or Mimi's or anybody who worked on Tripwire. The deadline we made, it was unexpected to say at least. Like, we figured we could make it simpler, but then we all got stressed, and by the time, as Raven stated, as the time we tried to start testing Tripwire, we didn't have enough time. And you could have said, oh, delay it, but we already delayed the game, the update, like I think 46 times. It isn't Raven's fault that Tripwire came out the way she did. Coders were burnt out, and so they couldn't code every day, and it was stressful. And Sobi stayed up hours on end, like I think almost 24 hours, and he just passed out, and we just uploaded the game to see how it'd be. It was updated while we were doing testing, quite literally, because we just didn't have enough time. So I want to say, don't hate Tripwire, because Tripwire wasn't anybody's fault. It was just a deadline appearing. If that deadline never appeared, we would have been fine. And don't blame Sobi or Bonely or any of the owners for putting out that deadline. We thought we could make it, we just simply couldn't. And it was a little miscommunicated because we figured we'd have more time, but it's okay. We all made mistakes, and we already talked about that issue that we would have improved upon it. That's all I kind of wanted to say.
With that clarified, let's go ahead and continue.
Then it became big, which is hilarious.
So, were there any other planned vessel cosmetics supposed to be put in the game?
Every developer was gonna get a vessel cosmetic.
Yeah.
Every single one?
Every single one?
Yeah, it was gonna be chaotic. I'm gonna say this now. I didn't really like the idea of just doing random, like, I shouldn't say random people's vessels, because they weren't random. They're EXE people. It was gonna be to the upteenth degree. It was gonna be a lot of vessels in the game.
You guys are asking good questions. This is bad.
Yeah, but the vessel thing sort of just happened one day. Like, we were told, like, oh yeah, you guys can make vessels that we could put in game, and then everybody started thinking of stuff. It was literally a crazy time.
Besides that, what other vessels, besides like dev vessels?
Yeah, if you mean like actual vessels, like actual, like, what's it called?
Like Alan or something?
Yeah, I think Alan was an idea.
I know.
Was he an idea?
I know from Dylan, I'm pretty sure. I know an Alan dev Survivor was planned, but like as a joke. I don't think it was meant to be taken seriously, but I know that was planned. As for like dev vessels, I know some were gonna be added. I know some contributors also got their own stuff. One of them I can mention. No disrespect to Beetle, love that guy. I know he was gonna get
Oh my god!
Oh my god.
He told me it was being modeled, and then everything after Rico.
The death.
Man, everything after fucking Rico for me. Fuck this.
Would have been
Yeah.
Okay.
right there.
You said Eggman would have eventually be reworked into a support. How exactly would you go about that? Or what was his, like, you know, rework intentions?
Eggman was gonna have a third ability where he would be able to basically place down a turret. It was gonna be his thing from TD, I'm pretty sure. I could be remembering wrong though. It was
There
like
was a
that.
public poll, remember?
Oh yeah, the public poll we did months ago that somehow the team remembered, and it was gonna be like that. It was gonna be a turret, and he'd be able to help out more like that rather than just running away half the time.
Yeah, there was either two options in that poll, which was a turret or a decoy for Eggman, but they ultimately chose the turret, but that we never got that.
Did Honey the cat ever have anything planned, or was she just a
Okay. Right. You say what you know, and then I'll say what I know. So you go first before I crash out. I was the biggest Honey fan, so I'm mad.
Okay, Honey, we can talk about it. I had a concept of Honey. Where's my Google Docs? Where's my Google Doc?
You had a whole Google Doc of Honey the cat.
I came up with a Honey the cat concept ages ago where it took literally best of both worlds from Honey. She was gonna be able to fight, but then she was also gonna be able to do other shit too. She was support, could literally fight back. So cream but better. She was gonna be so good. And I brought it up to Ross because, like I said earlier, he was like the lead on Honey, and he said it was going to be considered. It never happened though. But Honey would have been perfect. But she was going to be a support, and she also would be able to fight back. Best of both worlds. You get the Archie comic version of Honey, and then you also get People's healer.
I also do want to add in, based on the information from Sonic the Fighters, Honey's dress isn't a normal dress. It's literal armor. Was there anything planned with her being kind of like a tank?
I can talk about this one because I was talking to Bonely about it because I was the biggest Honey fan. So an original concept that Bonely had, and I was told by my friend that we had a server about it. I remember that she was gonna have more health than some survivors, and that her playstyle might have mixed something in from like Yakuza No Dragon, since they wanted her to be like a fighter and have more
She would have
health
had
out
her
there.
shadow. Okay, so I wasn't too far off the nose. Okay, she was gonna have her like little shade or whatever it was called. I know exactly what you're talking about though, because guess what? That was my concept. Anyways,
But yeah,
that's Honey in a nutshell. I think she was also gonna have a variant where she wouldn't just be her pixelated.
Yeah, you're right, bro.
Side the fighters.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, I was right. Yeah.
All right, next question. If there was a chance in the future, would y'all have ever considered Mephiles as a killer or survivor? Number one Mephiles fan.
So, that's the point. But Mephiles is gonna be a variant.
I'm guessing a shadow variant.
No,
Oh, who was he gonna be a variant?
EXE variant.
Oh, for who?
It was. I'm not sure if they want me to say it. I don't think they want me to say it.
Will Route be shot down?
Yeah, no, it's best to not say it. But
Dang it.
he was planned to be a variant for a killer.
Well, I guess people gotta keep guessing then.
I'll just give him this hint. It's a pretty big EXE.
All right. So someone asked, were the clashing mechanics going to be exclusively for Metal Sonic and 2011X, or were other characters going to get it, such as Sonic and Colossus?
God, this is
I can
such
answer. I can
too.
answer.
Because I know Fleetway was gonna get one.
Yeah, multiple characters were gonna have clashes. For example, Fleetway's spin with Sonic's drop dash. That would have been a clash.
That one. It was
Tails'
gonna be.
blade with Fleetway's eyes. Like,
Oh, that was gonna happen. That was gonna.
yeah.
I didn't know that one. I know,
We're gonna have, like, beam clashes?
I know
Beam
Fleetway
Clash?
and I know Fleetway and what's his name? Metal Sock were to have one. That's what I was thinking about.
Oh my god.
I didn't know him
Obviously-
and Tails are gonna have one.
Obviously, the most known one was Metal and Furnace. 'Cause there's animation about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clashes were like a fun topic to talk about. It was gonna happen after we could.
Was there gonna be? Wait, actually, I want to add on to this question. Was there actually gonna be any dialogue mentioned while the clash is happening?
I don't
I
know.
do not know this one, but
I
I'm
don't
gonna be honest.
think I wasn't given anything, so
Knowing how it would work, cause like, didn't you have to press? It was teased before in like
it
public.
would have to be
You had
timed.
press
It would have to
certain-
be really
yeah.
timed.
I think
Yeah,
whoever
yeah, it
would
was
have
gonna be-
won. Yeah, whoever
Yeah.
would have won would have had lines most likely, or if like a killer lost. But that's just assumptions. We never got that far.
Did Imperfect have anything at all, or was he completely forgotten?
I can answer this one because I've talked to Sobi about this. Lore-wise, he was just a failed reject of 2011X. He tried to mimic him and he failed. For his moveset, there wasn't really much planned because Sobi planned to rewrite him at some point, but then outcomes happened. So then he just left it. He still cares about the character, but he just doesn't know what to do with him. For his moveset, there's also absolutely nothing. We can only guess that he would have had some like a sort of long range attack because of how his body structure is, but overall, there's nothing we
There
can
was
do.
a old version of Imperfect from way back when. That's what I do know.
Yeah,
it was not playable, but it was it exists. It's just hidden in code.
You guys don't really have to answer this if you have to hide stuff. But what was the roadmap for 0.3 and so on?
We had ideas. A few of us had ideas at least. It was never
I
really
remember.
finalized. I know we were definitely going to do Lord X and we were gonna do
NMI,
NMI.
right? Yeah,
Yes,
NMI.
we're gonna do Lord X, we're gonna do NMI. That was agreed upon.
I know in version 0.4 when we got that far, that's when Honey and Slash would have been introduced.
Yeah, they were gonna be their own update, but then we went and 0.4 was also gonna be EYX territory, meaning Mighty and Ray were also gonna be there.
Because after that whole like situation back in January, we all planned to sit down and make a roadmap together. but we never had the time.
So much stuff happened. It was a whole thing. It was a whole thing.
But overall, we can continue.
Were you planning on adding any more Pizza Tower related skins or emotes?
Pizza Tower. Oh man, I think that Pizza Tower thing was. I feel like it was a contributor's idea.
The noise fleetway. I don't know if you ever saw that. One of our contributors made a noise fleetway.
Never seen that.
For Pizza Tower, yes and no. I mean, we had more planned in the burner. I can't say which ones because I don't remember, but I know we wanted to do more Pizza Tower stuff, but that never happened.
I think Bonley was the main one.
I'm gonna accept like a possibly. It was possibly going to.
Yeah, it was possibly was gonna happen.
Yeah, and then like the noise fleetway too. That was in the ideas box. Did Mist Crimson X have a planned original moveset, or it was similar to 2011X?
Yes, he had his own moveset planned. I guess I could say this because it's, it's Mist Crimson, but he was the one that was gonna take the minions from Colossus. So before Colossus became Colossus was originally gonna keep his minions. Then he sort of just became OP as hell. He was gonna have minions, and then it was swapped over to Mist. Well, no, it wasn't swapped over to Mist. The person behind Mist moveset, which was Raven, had the idea of doing minions on Mist, but then we also had Colossus. The two was basically in like a weird neutral state of either give one or both of them minions. Discussion happened about it. We opted out to just have Mist have minions. Now, past that, the rest of the moveset was gonna be 2 abilities. He was gonna have 2 abilities. Some do with spikes, and then another thing is what I forget. But he wasn't gonna be too. He was gonna be carried by his minions, is what I could basically remember from the top of my head. Other than that, though, it wasn't really too much.
Was there ever planned to be a Death Egg map? We need to know this for the Eggman Empire.
Yes, it was gonna happen. There's also a final segment idea for it. I think I brought it to Bonely, where it was gonna be similar to the explosion with You Can't Run, where it just blows up. But it was like you had to. The escape segment was something entirely different. Months ago it's been.
It was something about. You don't escape by rings, and I forgot how you escape.
It was this whole thing. A lot of different escape ideas.
And it wasn't like You Can't Run where you just go through doors. It was like a completely different way to escape. I just forgot how. So my bad, Eggman fan me.
Was there going to be a chance that Metal Knuckles would have been a survivor instead of a cosmetic?
If it was already a cosmetic, it wasn't gonna be a survivor.
Yeah.
Unless it was done in the reverse.
I think one of the main issues of having a Metal Knuckles thing is like you already have Metal and Knuckles on the team, so combining those would just kind of make people choose Metal Knuckles over Metal or Knuckles. Plus, in their vision, it didn't fit, so cosmetic is the next best thing.
Yeah, and then you also have the whole thing of moveset ideas for the characters that doesn't overlap with other characters. That's its own whole predicament, to say the least.
What was the Teen Chaotix roles before the game was canceled?
There is a moveset for Vector. We'll go find that.
So, yes! Because I was in a call with Rita when we finally found out about this. We know where the metal Sonic hook went to. And it went to Espio. Espio had the metal Sonic hook. And he was going to be able to do all that shit. So he was going to be more stealth-oriented and sneak up on killers. Think of this is the first thing that comes to my brain. Think of 2-Time from Forsaken. But they were all going to have a mutual ability where they had the ring from the game Chaotix, where you could pull and do all that extra shit. Vector didn't he have his fire breath? Or it was planned to have his fire breath, right?
I found a moveset. For his grapple thing, like his little ring for Vector, he would have been able to throw it at, if you throw it at a wall, he'd pull himself towards it. But if you grab a Survivor or Executioner, it would pull them towards Vector. But a stun thing was never finalized. It was still being talked about. There's also a concept for Vector, which was more of a drop bounce. He jumped in the air, curled into a ball, then slammed into the floor. But it would also let him jump back higher, so it could be used 1 or 2 times.
It sort of just cycles back to that whole thing I said before, where a lot of survivors weren't really finalized because there's just not really a focus on them.
And for Charmy, no, he's dead.
Yeah, we don't know what Charmy would have been.
So, what was the Mirage Saloon map going to look like, or were there any special mechanics besides, the train?
Mirage Saloon.
The whole map was gonna be on a train. That's why I wanted to work on it so bad. I was talking to Bonley. The whole thing would be is you wouldn't escape through rings. You'd have to jump off the train at a certain part to escape. And if you don't make it, the train would crash and explode and die. Like, it was so cool. The whole gimmick was it, like, as the round goes on, when it reaches final 80, the train would start going out of control. So basically the train would go really fast. So you have to have quick reflexes. You have to leave before anything. It was so cool.
Was there anything thought about how was the Juggernaut game mode going to be made or how it's going to be played?
Neo Metal is a perfect example. I remember Ross talking about it at one point. The way it would have worked with Neo Metal at least is either the survivors, it would be against the Juggernaut and the Executioner, or it would have been the survivors temporarily teaming up with the EXE to take down the Juggernaut.
Yeah, I think it was that, but like they were just minionized.
So it was either they'd be minionized or they'd form a alliance to take down whatever Juggernaut was.
Which makes sense
Unless
because
it
then,
was like, yeah.
because they
unless
also
it
had
was,
Supersonic.
I guess you could say the third Juggernaut, remember? They only know about Neo Metal and Supersonic.
Oh, wasn't it
Said.
the robot?
The Death Egg robot. That was
Yeah.
gonna be one.
Yeah, Death Egg robot.
That's a perfect example of how they could have teamed up. Because the Death Egg robot was gonna be its own little thing. We had to team up.
Eggman's fucking.
Eggman just backstabs your team and goes into his robot. Just really cool.
You don't know how long I've been trying to get Death Egg in the fucking
Master Plan,
game.
are you okay?
Fuck!
Fuck!
Egg, you're live.
Yeah, were there any more characters you had in mind for Juggernaut, or how would characters like Neo Metal play?
That's actually a pretty good question.
I
For more characters, Death Egg, that was answered. For maybe Route can answer this one.
more characters planned for.
No, like
Juggernaut?
how they would have played.
How they would have played. Man, I think Neo Metal, he would have his dash still. He would have his like charge, but I think instead of it just being like the normal, I think it would have been more different of a charge than Metal Sonic. I think that's where the flying mechanic went for his charge. I think that went to Neo Metal Sonic, and then for Super Sonic, he was just gonna have drop dash, think peel out, and then I think another ability, but I forget what it was gonna be. Juggernauts are gonna have their own custom intro.
God, the Death Egg one, when I told the concept, I can't say it because it got moved to another project, but yeah, we can continue.
How were the unobtainable badges supposed to be unlocked? And also, were there any other ideas for badges?
Oh, the unobtainable
Yes.
one?
Oh my
I know how to do
lord.
it.
A lot of people's concepts were considered for badges. Even a character. Okay, a character's what's it called? Was also planned for a badge. How you get a character was planned for badges.
There were badges for like escaping a solo, duo, trio, etc.
Getting certain amount of kills.
Yeah.
It was gonna be tied to character milestones, all that stuff. It just.
As for
Fuck,
the badges that weren't added, a little bit of heat would have been when Fleetway hit you with his laser and you caught on fire. It was either when you caught on fire or he killed you with laser and you burned to a crisp. Most likely the second one. As for Watch Out, it was either for two things. When we were gonna add more mechanics, I didn't say this one in the first question, but a mechanic for Hide and Seek Act 2 or Mystic Caverns, rocks were gonna be falling.
Oh yeah, the final 80. That never got.
Yeah, rocks were gonna be falling. And if a rock crushed you, you would have died. So that could have been the one for Head Dent. Or one of them could have been for, I don't think this one is it, but for Colossus when he rips off your head and it throws it to the ground. I don't think it'd be that one, so I think it's Mystic Cavern.
No, it was the final 81.
Yeah, I figured, but yeah.
Ooh, okay, I like this question. What were some of the EXE windscreens gonna be like?
I know there was one for NMI that was brought up a lot in the dev server, but other than that, the only other ones that weren't added was Fleetways, I think.
Yeah.
Fleetways wasn't
Yeah,
added?
Fleetway wasn't added. No, it wasn't added. They would have all stayed relatively the same, except for tripwires. Actually, it would have stayed the same, but there was an issue with the camera. They were supposed to zoom out more and make it look creepy, Sobe told me. It was going to be fixed in Rika.
But
Yeah,
no.
but as for Fleetway, he would have just been in like a destructive background before
Nope.
killing Sonic. He wasn't?
Nope.
What was his
It
background?
was finalized. It was already finished.
Really?
The animation was done, yeah.
What about the background he's in though? Remember? Because that's just the Roblox.
He
place.
was in the sky. It was meant to
Really?
be flying. Yes.
Well, that's something.
I don't know if it was ever publicized, but it exists.
What was Shadow's lore in OM?
I know this one. I know this one. After his test tube opened, he was just kidnapped to Outcome. That's kind of it.
We got put back in the test tube.
Yeah.
In YCR, you can see him.
Yeah. So like, as soon as his pod opened, one step out, to Outcome he goes.
That's just it. That's just it for Shadow's lore. No, nothing too intense. It's just as soon as he steps out, it's just gone.
There's just nothing. It's just. Yeah, maybe it would have been changed most likely, because I think it was just made like to fill in the void. But that's just everything we know and everything the owner said. Just Marie gone.
Yeah.
Were there any planned map events that you scrapped or had ideas for?
I have multiple. This is for Not Perfect V2. When Final 80 happened, Gray Ring was supposed to spawn, like how it did in TD. And when you went in there, it would have taken you to Green Hill. It would have been a different layout, but it would have resembled Act 1. That was the concept for Not Perfect.
Even though EXE and 2017X was scrapped, can we know some of their movesets that they were gonna have?
Faker was asked respectfully to be kept private. Raven did not want anything revealed about Faker, respectfully. 2017X, I don't really know much about him, but I knew he would have had his beast form.
They actually just finished his moveset by the time OM went down. Like,
yeah,
literally that day, I think the same day we said he was being taken off the roster, they just finished his moveset. I could be wrong though.
Yep, that's pretty much about it for planned game questions. Now we're gonna move on to dev questions. We're gonna start off with some of the dev questions here. Alright, first question. What is the idea behind the name of Outcome Memories?
I think if I remember correctly, it was like he was just combining words that he thought was cool, which is a very Sobe thing to do.
All right, next question. Is it possible that some killers/survivors that were dev exclusive/unreleased will be added to private servers in the future?
If the creator of the dev survivor or character is fine with it, then we will add it. And I will say this now, NES is a no.
What was the most fun or favorite thing to make for the game? Maps, music, cosmetics, movesets, anything?
Out of all the maps, the best one I would have worked on would have been Flying Battery. Maps were fun because I could get feedback and it wouldn't be too aggressive or anything.
I liked working on cosmetics. I didn't get to do many, but I liked that. And animation, I learned some pretty cool.
The one thing, because you think I would say voice acting. No. Oh my god. I loved working on the fucking Rouge solo with Cosmic. We spent, I want to say, almost over a day just working on the song. Just talking about it in call, working on it. Such a good experience. Oh man. Such a good time. I really want to finish that song.
All right, so for all of you, which character is your favorite in the Sonic series?
PR, go ahead.
Cheetah. No, Honey the fucking cat. I love her. I can say this now. I am one of only 2 people who have the Honey the cat ID, and that other person is Cosmic, because I was the biggest Honey fan. You did not know how happy I was when Ross gave me her as a gift.
You think I would say Fleetway? You really think I would say Fleetway? It's not Fleetway. Infinite, just Infinite to the very end. You would have to kill me. If there's no more Infinite fans, I'm dead.
Do you have any advice for all the OM revival projects and or upcoming ASYMs?
There's not really a lot of advice I can give. It's just have good management. I don't want to call out any projects, but I've seen a lot of them on Twitter go on fire.
Oh my god, yeah.
They need to take it slow, be open with the community. I understand they want to remake OM. Make your own version.
Make your own take.
How developed was the recode? If you guys got like a percentage value, that
I could say it. I'd say it was around 75% complete.
Oh my
god,
you're kidding.
I never knew that.
Oh my gosh.
I could say that because I've seen Lewis stream it. One of the best things about Recode is that rounds took 2 seconds to start. So after you pick your characters, it took 2 seconds to load the map, and then you're in.
Will any of y'all gonna make it to work on Outcome Memories inspired games, or y'all leaving EXE community forever? A silly question. So are you gonna stay in the EXE community, or will you appear in random like reworked projects, any kind of like that?
As any Outcome revivals, I'm most likely not gonna be joining any. As if they come to ask for my map, then I'll most likely say yes. But like some of the revival space is just, for me personally, it feels like a stab to the wound. But as for the EXE space, I'll still stay in it because I'm still working on other games. The only OM project I'm working on is OM Rebound, but that's because it's a story. That's more of my take on it. What about you, Rena and Ra?
For revival projects, I would totally show up if I was reprising my role as Tails. Otherwise, probably not too interested. As for staying in the EXE community though, I think I've definitely found like a really cozy niche here, so I'll probably stay for a bit. I'm seeing a lot of unique projects and talent on teams, so I still got some time in me.
You have not seen the last of Fleetway. So I'm not done with the EXE community. Even like outside of Fleetway, I'm still, I'm still gonna be around. Maybe try to get on a few extra projects if creators are willing to hear a voice. There's plans, but that won't be for a while though.
With the game being left open after its cancellation, are there any plans to keep the game from breaking due to Roblox's engine changes? So just
yes and no. It really depends how we feel, because I'm personally, I guess I could say what I've been doing. I haven't just been sitting on the sidelines. I was given access to the entirety of OM's code. So I've been going in myself and fixing all the map oversights, bugs, and all that. And Noah has been fixing the code inside of it. So over time, I guess you could say we'll come back if something breaks, but it'll eventually run out. We'll eventually stop coming back, but that won't be for a while. So I think OM will be fine.
okay, it'll be good in the bug department. All right.
Will the models be public so they can be used in other projects in Roblox or outside of it, like animations?
So we already gave permission to use their models, and so did Ray. So I could post some models myself later down the line, but I'd rather get permission first. So I'll just hold on
most of that, because there's other modelers.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Only like the survivors they made. So if they agree, I'll post the models. If they don't, then no model.
Next question is kind of something all of us are wondering. How are y'all doing, just in general?
I'm not doing the best, but seeing people recognize my work and getting me on other projects like Faucet Freaks or like Memory.
You're on Faucet Freaks?
I didn't know that.
I want to be on it.
Yeah, they hired me as a map builder.
Okay. That makes sense.
That's
They were
good.
looking for map builders.
I've not held up well after all this. I was pretty close to a lot of what happened, so it kind of stuck for a little bit. I'm only recently getting my life out of the rut, out of the gutter, but I was given a lot of good opportunities that I will not let go to waste. So I'm hanging on, I'm getting by.
I've been the shitter though. I was just burnt. I was burnt out. I still sort of am. I've been taking a huge break from just just EXE content for a little while. I've been sort of picking it up though. I've been talking to other projects, seeing what I can do. I'm really still open for other projects at the moment. Foster Freaks. I'm gonna kill PR for that one.
Before we go to the next question, can we give some support? Like, damn.
Yeah, no, this must have been terrible for all of them.
I was expecting, brushing it off. Nah, it's all good. It's good that you guys are being for real about it. It's good that you guys are being real. How did Blaze's design get made?
The person that made it was Ray Skittle Bunny. People think that she got inspired off a comic where Blaze was wearing that little dress thing. But from what Ray has told me, she just made it herself. And then afterwards didn't realize it was already something. So it was just created imagination.
It was just out of coincidence.
Yeah.
Will models for characters like the King, the Jorts, etc. ever go public? I'm assuming they mean dev characters.
Highly up to
The
Ross.
George and the King, those were made by Bonley and Ross from what I was told.
Yeah.
So most likely not. Plus Ross works very hard for his models. And he's doing something else with King, so most likely not.
What lessons did the developers of OM learn while working on the project?
A lot.
Communication is needed.
Oh shoot, what was the rework Not Perfect going to look like?
It would have been not perfect, but the void was still there, but less spots so you not fall everywhere. The entire map was still going to be oh, bumpers here, bumpers there. The reason the map is so open, we had an idea is like around the map layout would change, or the colors would change around the map. So the reason the whole map is structured to be like bigger is because stuff was going to be moved around. Another thing is that the void would have worked differently. It would have been a punishment system because it's harder to fall in it, but mistakes do happen. If you fell in the first time, you would have just been teleported back to where you fell. But if you fell like a second or third time, you'd take damage. And if you fell like a fourth or fifth time, you'd be teleported to the executioner, because that just feels like you're doing it on purpose.
Another question for them. Before you guys started working on Outcome, did you have any experience with coding and modeling or learning how while working on the game?
Nope. I knew nothing when I came in. I wasn't a writer, I wasn't an artist, I wasn't a modeler, I wasn't nothing. I learned how to map build in a single day, and I learned how to become a writer within a week. So, and I learned all those feats because I was begging Bonley to help me get on Not Perfect or map. He didn't think I'd do good, not in a rude way, because I was new. I had never touched Studio. And then the first day, I finished my whole thing. And then more and more people saw my work, and then here I am today. So, without Outcome, I'd be nobody, basically.
Damn.
I did not touch animation until Outcome Memories, like 3D animation. And my buddy, Moist Potato, he did some of the emotes and animations. He actually taught me how to using Moon Animator, and now I'm starting to get into Blender and learning how to model, and it has been lots of fun. It's like Outcome Memories kind of broke down this barrier for me, that it was like a mental barrier that I was like, oh, I can't do it. Being on a team really gave me the motivation and the support that I needed, the resources and everything like that. So I owe a lot to the game and the team for it.
If they could add one more EXE other than Fleetway, who would it be?
I guess Lord X?
Lord X is like
sort of.
Lord X
No,
is
Lord doesn't
interesting.
count. Lord
'cause
doesn't count because he needed he needed 2011X's rework to be done.
if we're talking about a sense of who could be added, but we won't, it would be Lord X and NMI. For Lord X is iffy because that's not his final moveset. Because there's always a text when someone uses them that's not his
Margaret
final
Thatcher.
moveset. Yeah. So it'd only be those two. Those are the closest ones to being done.
Question for
Go for
PR. How was the process behind map making like? How was the process?
It's a lot of make it now, make it look good later. When I was first making Not Perfect, I was really struggling thinking, how can I make this map look good? And I just decided to make the layout. The whole process it's pretty good to get a general layout done and then post it somewhere and be like, this is what I think. But for me, I have an issue with decorating the area first. So I would make the layout, then decorate everything, and then show it off. But you shouldn't do that because they might scrap it. Luckily, that didn't happen to me. But the process is just
different.
yeah. Okay. Make a layout and then go to other devs or people or map makers to get feedback. The whole process is just patience. If you rush it, you'll get a bad map. If you take your time, it'll be a good map.
How did Sonic.exe, the disaster, inspire OM dev team to make this game? So, in like what specific ways?
Oh my goodness, that question gave me flashbacks. Okay,
I did.
nobody's gonna know this. Nobody's gonna know this. OM wasn't always OM. This was meant to just be a TD fan game. This like we're talking about one day in the manager GC. OM had a completely different style, different look. It was not the way you guys think it is right now, or whatever you're picturing in your head. It was like to a T the last thing you would expect OM to be.
Yeah.
Then things started changing, and then around release, or close to release at least, TD's death happened. Sad, but then OM was able to sort of shift itself to become what it is now. So like it just did a full 180 at a certain point, and it became what it is today.
Will there still be moderation team to report hackers and scripters? I have fears that happens in OM some months later.
Yes. There are still game mods who are actively still doing it, including myself.
So, mostly for PR, did you find learning the map making process difficult? And if so, what's the hardest thing you had to learn?
Yes and no. It was difficult, but it also isn't. The easiest part was making the layout. The hardest part is learning Studio in general. But if you just sit down for 30 minutes, mess around with things, I'm a self-taught one. I didn't really look at videos. So it takes time, but after like 30 minutes to an hour, you get the hang of it. You'll still learn stuff throughout the way, but the hardest part is just
What would have been your favorite EXE?
end.
All Father.
self-pay Shadow.
About the balancing of characters, which one was the hardest, I'm assuming, to agree on?
Fleetway.
Fleetway. Oh God. Fucking.
I was thinking Colossus because there's like a lot of rebalancing with him.
Yeah.
No,
Close.
no.
Close second.
It's close. Yeah.
Close second. I said, okay, honest opinion, honest to God's truth. It's like, I feel like to me, this is like the definitive scaling of Owen's balancing. Fleetway was the hardest, then it was Colossus, then it was Tripwire, then 2011 was at the bottom. Simple as that.
Because here, for example, a lot of people disagreed with how much damage he did, but people got used to it over time. Fleetway.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Fleetway
It
was
was
just
a war zone.
Jesus Christ, dude. There's so much we could talk about, but like, at the same time, just can't.
That's why me and Nora taking our time was pushing out Fleetway changes.
Did you guys enjoy your time on Outcome Memories?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Every
I'd
second
say
of
for
it.
like, yeah, I'd say for like most part, it was good. Like, despite all the crazy shit that happened, I met some really nice people. Had great talks with like people like Jodo Boy, Hari, a lot of fucking people.
Yeah, I mean, just talked about this the other day too, but when I joined the team, I like made it a point to make friends with everybody that I saw around that was on the team. Being on the team has just been such an experience.
What was your relationship with the Sonic franchise before OM?
Quite literally, I was like your average fan. I already knew plenty about EXE stuff. I was already an avid, huge EXE fan prior to that. So, prior to Outcome, so like, being on Outcome was just a dream come true. And even past that, it was like, so to have the opportunity finally was great.
I didn't know too much about Sonic, if I'm being honest. I knew Tails was my favorite character, and then I played TD, and I really liked that. And then that game got canceled.
Died.
And then OM came out, and I was like, okay, I'll hop over here. And that was when I truly started getting into EXE stuff.
Could Fleetway and his skins be added for the community to enjoy as a final treat? Well then.
I mean, PR answered that earlier.
That's a bit answered earlier. But yes.
I can repeat it, I guess. Yeah, it's gonna happen.
How does Sobi feel about the popularity Outcome Memories got?
Okay, well, I haven't talked to the guy in a while, actually, but I know Sobi would be proud about the point Outcome's at, or well, the good of Outcome, I should say.
What will the potential next steps for each team member be? New project, IRL things, etc.
Well, PR already said this. He has other games he's working on as a map builder. I have a few more Fleetway stuff to push out and to work on. I'm just trying to find voice roles here and there. That's not OM revivals.
How come there's so many Deltarune skins?
Oh my God, I got that. I got you for that one. Deltarune was a big thing before release. Like, I'm telling you right now, there was more planned. Honestly, you guys were gonna get Susie. Was it Susie or Gerson? It was either Susie or Gerson Amy. It was big at the time, so people just went with it. It was just cosmetic ideas.
Will the Jort lineage be added to public servers? I think they meant by private or something. I'm 100% sure they meant private.
If you mean private, then most likely not. It's entirely up to Ross, though. I'm not gonna knock it, but I'm not gonna say, yeah, it's gonna happen, because even I don't know all that. But from what I do know, at the moment, no, it will not be happening.
Question, will we get the smallest amount of content for April Fool's Day?
Oh, Lord, I wish we made it to April. You guys would have had fucking something so sweet. If it was, like, done for April, I'm pretty sure you guys would have had another character.
What would we have gotten for April Fools?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sunky was meant to happen. Sunky was meant to happen. Positive it was meant to be for April Fools.
It is.
From everything,
Or
Ray,
was.
from everything Ray was telling me, it was gonna be just April Fool's shit.
Do the devs still want to work on this game if it was never canceled? Like, did you have plans that you were gonna leave if the game was still going?
I actually was planning on sticking around for a while, but I even wanted to help out with the collabs and stuff, just throw around general ideas. But you know, everything happened, so I sort of dipped. But overall, it was I would have sticked around if all this shit didn't happen. I feel like most people would have.
So how long did it take Sobi to find the team for 0.1 or just Outcome Memories in general?
Most of these people have known each other for years prior to Outcome. So base set of co-owners and owners were the original team, and then just bred to what it is now. It was always ever growing, I would say.
Was Stamina considered, and if yes, why was it scrapped?
I don't think it was considered. But as for why it just never existed, I'm pretty sure that was just a gameplay thing. I mean, there's some ASYMs that don't have Stamina, or do now but didn't before. I don't know.
How did you get permissions for so many EXEs? Was there a lot of outside contact involved? I know that apparently from what people are saying, contacting the owner of No More Innocence was super difficult because you cannot find them anywhere online. So how did you even get in contact with some of these people?
From what I could know and just piecing certain things together, I know that some were brought in because they were looking for perms, and other EXE owners helped out with that, but most of them probably just pure luck. Because some of these EXEs, mind you, were planned before, like, 0.1 even came out. So yeah, just probably luck. Just luck and connections.
So for OMT, did he have ready-made skills and abilities, or just concepts in general before he was discarded? Like, at all?
I was not expecting an OMT question. OMT was... He had a model. He was getting a map. OMT was meant to be like a very, very, not really released character, but he was meant to sort of be shown up already.
What would be your favorite official Sonic game?
There's a lot. There's a lot of games. There's not really one I can list off. Not anymore, really. They're all really good in their own right. The idea of forces. The idea of it,
but the execution, no.
Yeah.
What would be your favorite?
I would still say Frontiers. Despite people's like gripes with it here and there, I still like it.
Okay, before the making of OM, was there any other ideas for the game's identity besides being an ASYM? You did say there were other things for OM before it was OM, didn't you, Route?
Well, okay, it's always going to be an ASYM, but it was just different in execution. Like, you know, like those... What's the best way I can explain it? You know, like those phases in life you have where, like, you just have, like, that one emo phase? That was OM before it became Outcome Memories. Had that weird phase. So, yeah, I mean, it was always ASYM, though. It was never not going to be something different.
Would we ever get a free cam mode in private lobbies when the game was still getting updated? Oh my gosh, we had me and a lot of creators begging for this.
I think that was planned.
Oh my gosh, bro.
Ooh.
That because there was some stuff Ray was planning that she just never really finished because, you know, the death of Outcome and also Burnout hit. So it was just like one of those things where with time, yeah.
What will happen to OM originals like Alucard? Is there any chance it could get adopted or allowed to be used in other Sonic.exe horror games?
That is entirely up to the creators. I know Ross is planning stuff with King at the moment, like PR said earlier. I believe Ray still owns Alucard, but doesn't want anything to be done with them currently. Imperfect is still owned by Sobi, but again, doesn't want anything to be done with them. Again, it's better off to just either ask these creators or look at the FAQs that they're in for context behind certain things.
Will you guys post the game's resources, models, code, maps, etc. to the public?
PR is able to get the perms for it. I'm sure she will do it.
How did they manage to get Johnny to sing for a Supersonic Hero as well?
When Astronova reached out to Johnny, I think it was mentioned that it was for Outcome Memories, and because of that, he gave her like a discounted deal. And then Erosity, who made the Supersonic theme, was also given the same deal because it's Outcome Memories.
Now, for bread and butter, the confirmation that people wanted, the final question. Question number 48. Is there a possible comeback?
Rena, what do
I
you
want to add on to this question shortly before
Oh,
you
yeah,
answer. I've seen some comments saying that they could wait a year, they could wait 5 years. They would still be fine if something were to happen to like the owners, and maybe like some owners would be swapped out. They kind of just want to know if there's any sort of chance at all that OM could come back.
A small spark, a glimmer of hope is all they want.
I'll say this. I know people aren't against OM coming back, but we all need just time. We need time away. And I'm not confirming that, oh yeah, OM will come back in the future, or that it's all set in stone. Personally, I was like one of the people, really could confirm this too. I was one of the people that are like, needs to go. We need to just cut our losses and take a break or a permanent leave of absence from Outcome Memories. Because holy shit, it was in like the midst of everything. I was like, this is just isn't good for us. And so I'll be the one to say maybe if everything goes right and people are down to come back, and we're able to get all the coders to come back, you know, recode finished, the fucking roadmap actually done, maybe, just maybe there'll be a chance. But where it stands right now, no.
Well, there's the answer to the final question. I gotta say,
That's it.
thank you so much for coming along here. This is like the final, and I didn't expect you guys to answer and stuff. But yeah, thank you guys for showing up. Like, damn, this is gonna be like the final interview for Outcome.
I am so thankful that this project happened, even despite all the stress that me and PR had to go through with this shit. This was the best outcome.
The best outcome of our memories. Oh my gosh, there is no way.
Yeah.
I'm ending it
I
there.
knew you were
I'm ending it there.
Yeah, I did it.
That concludes the final interview for Outcome Memories. I hope all of you are satisfied with all the answers that were given after the game's cancellation. If you watched all the way to the end of this video, you should really subscribe because I'll be making more of these kinds of interviews with other games like this one. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.